welcome to this week's Saturday Snippets video. I'm Lauren, and today we are continuing our work in Small Victories, where we are coloring these nature scenes. Let me just show you. So if you've been following along, you know that we've colored this one using polychromos, this one using Prismacolor, this one using Caran d'Ache Luminance, this one using Derwent Colorsoft, and we are working on this one with Castle Arts 120. I'm using this page to test out different pencil brands to see which ones I like the most, and so far my favorite is actually the Luminance. I like all the others as well. The pencils lay down nicely, but this is definitely my favorite. And today we are finishing the background on this moth. I also want to deepen up some of the shadows on the moth itself and on some of these leaves. And I'm not sure how long that's going to take. If we have some time left over, I thought that I would also show you how I color water in Dak Fairy Tales by Kerby Rosanes, where I am doing this crocodile page. I'm calling it The Crocodile Awaits, and I thought I would start on the water. I've chosen colors that do not clash with this background. So the background is like this greenish teal color, so the water is going to be a darker blue, and it should work well together. We'll see. Sometimes I can only see how something works once I've actually put it down on the page. Anyway, so grab your page or any page and your beverage of choice, and let's get started. Okay, so we're zoomed in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken up the shadows inside these leaves using 069 in the Castle Art set. If you are using Prismacolors, you can use either dark brown or dark umber. And I'm just going to be deepening up the shadows here at the ends because I feel that they weren't deep enough after last week. Okay, so just very, lightly with the pencil in the corners of these leaves. Sometimes you can only actually see something that needs to be done on the page after you've left it alone for a while. This is something that I also tell my students. If you're new to the Saturday Snippets, let me just explain that these are color and chat videos. So as I'm coloring, I'm chatting away. If you don't want to listen to my ramblings, feel free to mute me and put in some music instead. But anyway, so I teach academic writing and literature to students who are going to be English teachers. And I always tell them with their writing, before they submit, they should leave it alone for about, 24 hours and then come back to it and read through it again, because their brain will reset and things that they didn't see before will pop out at them. Because when you're working on something, you're so immersed in it, you don't see the bigger picture. And I think this is applicable to coloring pages as well. It's a good idea to leave the page after you have done something for a while, a couple of hours or a day, and then come back and take a look at it and see if something needs to be added. So I did that for this page and this little picture, and I thought that these leaves needed more shadow. So that's what I've done. Okay, let's blend out that darker brown with this more orangey toned brown, which for me is 114, and if you are using Prismacolor, it's terracotta. So yeah, just blend it out a bit. So I hope that you have all had a good week. My week was a mixed bag. Again, if you've been watching the channel, then the Saturday Snippets, you know that I wasn't feeling well a couple of weeks ago, and ever since then, I've been feeling a bit dizzy. So I went back to my doctor. She's seeing a lot of me lately. I'm sure she's sick of my face. Anyway, yeah, so I told her I was feeling dizzy, and so she, she checked my pulse, she checked my heart, and she said that my pulse was really weak. Okay, I think we are going to make these leaves purple, blue, purple, green. I'm still undecided. I think I'm going to make them a purpley color. Yeah, okay. So we're going to use 036, which is lilac. All right, I'm going to try and make them a bit darker than this flower so that they don't merge in with it. Anyway, so she checked my pulse, and I have high blood pressure usually, but lately my blood pressure's been low. So anyway, she she sent me off for tests and blood tests, and I have to have an echocardiogram and other things. Hopefully everything's okay. But while I was out and about doing these tests, one of the tests is in a shopping mall that is about 40 minutes away from my town. I live in a small town. So it's about 40 minutes away. I'm using 038, which is violet in Prismacolor. And it's a bigger mall than what I have in my town. And which is fun because I get to go to stores that I don't usually go to. So I took the opportunity of having to do a medical test to go to a mall. While one of the stores that they have at this mall is called a Miniso. It's a Chinese store that has branches all over the world, and we have one in this mall, and they have such cute stuff. I'm leaving the highlight over here. So they have such cute stuff in this mini store. So I got some stationery items, which I will show in my next haul video, which will probably be towards the end of the month, because I've been collecting things over the last 3 months. I don't really buy that much stuff, so I accumulate it so that I can show everyone. So I'll show the things that I got at this cute little store in my next haul video. Okay, I'm going to get some white, or do I want to actually... Yes, you know something? I am going to use the Seafoam Green from the Harmonious set to blend this. If you are using Prismacolor, it is Pale Sage. Oh yes, I think that will. Just in the highlight area. That'll make it, blend nicely with the moth. Oh, I like that. That's come out nice. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I don't buy too much stuff because I already have a lot, and I don't feel like I need anything. And I think what I'm also going to do is take this lilac color 036 and put it into these leaves as well, so that we're going to get a cohesive look to this little section. Yes, so now we've got the purple leaves with the green tint, we've got the green leaves with the purple tint, and then we've got this purple flower. Okay, another thing that I want to do is I want to fix up our moth a little bit. I want to deepen up the shadows there, so I'm going to take the 045, which is indigo blue in Prismacolor, and just deepen up some of the shadows for this moth. well. Yeah, so because I was doing all of these tests, I couldn't go to the pool as much. I only got to go yesterday. But that was nice. Okay, so I'm just deepening up the shadows in between the white gel pen that we put down. You can also see that once the gel pen has dried, you can actually put the pencil up over top of it. So that's also what I'm doing. Just going into this gel pen as well to make the transitions between the gel pen and the pencil a bit smoother. Okay. Well, I like our little moth and how he's come out. He's cute. Okay. Yes, I didn't get to go to the pool as much. Next week I will go more. And yeah, so that was my week. And I also was doing a bit more reading. So I finished the book that I was reading last week, which was called A Cold, Cold Heart by Tammy Hogue. I liked it. It was a good book. So I'm on Goodreads, and after I finished reading, I don't read reviews of books before I read them because I don't want to be influenced by other people's opinions. I prefer to, read the book myself and then decide. But and then afterwards, after I finish reading the book, I sometimes read reviews. I'm just going to take the seafoam green again and blend this out. Yeah, that's nice. So I don't really read reviews before I read a book, but I do read them after to see if other people have felt the same way about the book as I have. Anyway, so I was reading some reviews of this book, and a lot of people were saying that they didn't like the heroine. Okay, let's move on to the background. So we are going to try to get a background that is cohesive with the one next to it. So we did this. Let me just pull this down a bit so you can see. We did that with these two, okay? And we're going to try and do the same thing here. It's not going to be identical because we're using different pencils with different colors. If you want it to be identical, I recommend that you go back to this video where we did the butterfly and see which colors I used for the background, and then you can replicate it on this image. But I'm going to be using the Castle Arts, and so the colors will be slightly different, but still the same sort of tones. Okay, so we are using, for this, we're using the seafoam green, which is pale sage, the pale apple, which is jade green. We're using 054, which is either peacock green or dark green. If you use the peacock green, it's got more of a bluish tint to it, which this pencil has, but it's more blue than this pencil. Just something to keep in mind. And if necessary, we're also going to use 045, which is indigo blue. Okay, I'm just going to take a sip of my tea. Right. Yeah, so let's, we're going to start with the seafoam green. Okay. And we're just going to put a light layer of this all over the background. Anyway, so I was reading reviews of the book on Goodreads, and as I said, quite a few readers said they didn't like the heroine. Okay, So they said she was cold and standoffish and difficult to identify with. And I agree to a certain extent that she's that way. But I don't want to give anything away. If you want to read the book, I recommend it. It's a good book. But there's a reason she's that way. It's not deliberate. So I felt they were being a bit harsh for her. Also, I have a soft spot for prickly heroines. I like heroines who are not Mary Sue's. They're not, so lovable and likable and everyone loves them and they're too good to be true. I don't like heroines like that. I find them to be annoying and vapid. Okay, I'm just turning the page so that we can... So I actually like the prickly heroines. So for example, I like Eve very much from the In Death series by J.D. Robb. And there's a book series called D.I. Stone by Angela Marsons. And the main character is Detective Inspector Kim Stone. And she is way prickly. She does not like people. She's a police officer, but she doesn't like people. And she doesn't have patience for them. And she's really prickly too. But I really like her. And yes, prickly heroines have interesting personalities. I'm not so sure we're supposed to like them. They're not likable, but they're very human. And I like that, so I do like them. I like them precisely because they're prickly and unexpected and tell it like it is. Yeah, so the heroine in this book by Tammy Hogue is like that. She's not a police officer. She's a journalist. And speaking of heroines who are journalists, the book that I'm reading now is called Seeing Red by Sandra Brown. And this is the first book that I've read in paperback for a while. So I was told for one of my tests that I had to do, I had to wear a halter, which is like an EKG monitor for 24 hours. And I was told to avoid technological devices. Like I couldn't, not completely, I was still allowed to use them. Thank goodness, because I don't know if I could do without my phone. But they did say to, reduce the amount of time I spent around technological devices so as not to interfere with the readings on the machine. Okay, we are moving on to our darkest tone, which is 054. So I'm going to use this in the shadow areas, and then we're going to blend it out with the pale apple, which is the jade green. So either dark green or peacock green in Prismacolor and jade green. Anyway, so because of that, I decided, okay, I'll read one of the few paperbacks that I have on my shelves. And this was the book that I had in paperback, Seeing Red by Sandra Brown. And so I started reading it. And very lightly, because we're going to want to blend this out. And Castle Arts pencils are not as soft as Prismacolor pencils. So in order to blend nicely, you need to use very light pressure on your darkest color. Okay, so back to my book. So I started reading this one, and the heroine is a journalist. Sandra Brown has quite a few books with heroines who are journalists. So there's a book she has a book called Exclusive, where the heroine is a journalist and she's interviewing the First Lady. And then the plot goes from there. And she has another one called Mirror Image. That Mirror Image was my very first Sandra Brown book, and I have read it so many times. It's a favorite. It's so clever. A really, really clever book, that one. Okay, I don't want to go too far. I'm using the dots that Johanna has given us to indicate where to stop this color. Sometimes I get carried away and go further than I want. But if you're layering, you can also erase. So anyway, where was I? Right, so journalist heroines. So yeah, that Sandra Brown book, Mirror Image, was my first Sandra Brown, and it is still my all-time favorite Sandra Brown book. Another book that she has with a heroine who's a journalist is called Charades. That was also a very good book. All right, I think I'm gonna turn him upside down. Anyway, so in this book, Seeing Red, the heroine is interviewing a man who's considered a hero for rescuing some people. I won't go into too much detail in case you want to read the book. And after the interview, they're attacked. Sandra Brown writes romantic suspense, if you're not aware. And that the book is going from there. I am about 20% into the book. I can't really tell because I'm not on my Kindle, so I don't know how far I'm in. I have to look at the, page numbers to see. Okay, we're just going to put this very lightly there. I don't want this color to overshadow these leaves. Very lightly. Okay, right. Let's turn it back around. And now we're going to blend that out with the pale apple, which is jade in Prismacolor. Okay. So medium pressure because we're blending. Even, sometimes if you want to, you can use hard pressure. So I'm enjoying that book. And I'm also listening to a new audio book, but I haven't gotten that far in it because I was told to avoid electronic devices. So the audiobook that I'm reading is called Magic Claims by Ilona Andrews. It is a continuation of the Kate Daniels series. So if anyone's read Ilona Andrews, she has a couple of series. She has the Kate Daniels series, which has 10 books. So I suppose this would be book 11. And there's a bit of a gap between book 10 and 11 because Ilona Andrews, who's a husband and wife writing team, Ilona and Gordon Andrews, they actually finished the Kate Daniels series, but everyone loves it, so I think they decided to give us all a bonus and write another one. So I'm listening to that, and I like the narrator. The narrator is Hilary Huber. It's got a dual narration, so a male narrator and a female narrator. I can't remember the name of the male narrator. It's Patrick something. and I will find out and put it on the screen. He's also very good. But the original Kate Daniels series was narrated by Renee Raudman, and she is just a fabulous narrator. I would listen to her read the phone book. And so I kind of miss her, even though Hilary Hoover is also very good. I've listened to other books that she's narrated too. Yeah, so I've just gotten started with that one, and it's good so far. So those are the books that I've been reading. I also, last weekend, while I was coloring, I also watched, it's called The Thursday Murder Club, which is based on a book. So I've read the book. The book is by Richard Osman, who is an English comedian. So I don't know if they still have it, but there used to be a show on BBC. I think it was BBC, called Pointless. And it's like a game show. Okay, so in Pointless, if you've never seen it, in Pointless, the contestants have to answer a question that the production has given to 100 people. So they've asked 100 people to answer questions. And the contestants have to guess the answer that got the least number of audience answers. I'm not sure I'm explaining that correctly. So let me give an example. So say the question is, name presidents of the United States. Okay. And they give this question to 100 people to answer. Everyone has to give one answer. So say, 70 people say Franklin Roosevelt. Okay, I'm going back in with the 054 to deepen up just the shadows, the deepest shadows. And 20 people say Bill Clinton. And one person says Barack Obama. And an answer that nobody gives would be, say, Lyndon Johnson. Okay? So Lyndon Johnson is a pointless answer. And if the contestant says Lyndon Johnson, then they get more points, because the name of the game show is Pointless. You want to guess the answer that nobody gave, because you get more points if you give an answer that other people didn't know, a correct answer. If your answer is incorrect, you don't get any points, and if you keep giving incorrect answers, you lose. And the winners are the people who have the closest to 0 points, to pointless, at the end of all the rounds. Okay? So anyway, I digress. Richard Osman, the author of the Thursday Murder Club, is one of the hosts of this show called Pointless, which is such fun. I really like that show. I need to see if it's on streaming and just binge watch it again. I wonder if BBC has it on streaming. I'll have a look. Anyway, so Richard Osman is the author of The Thursday Murder Club, which, if you haven't seen the movie or read the books, it's about a group of amateur detectives who live in I wouldn't say, it's not a nursing home, it's like an assisted living facility. and they're all very independent. So the book was such fun. He's written more. I don't know how many books there are in the series right now. I've read one. I need to get back to it. I want to read more. But they've made the first book, which is called The Thursday Murder Club, into a movie with an amazing cast. It's with Helen Mirren and Pierce Brosnan and Ben Kingsley. Okay, do I want to blend this out some more? I think so. So now I'm going to take the Seafoam Green, and I might even get white from the Prismacolor to blend this some more. Yeah, so I watched the Thursday Murder Club, and it was a lot of fun. I like that they stuck to the book. They made a couple of small changes, but on the whole, they stuck to the book. I like it when TV shows and books stick to the books if they're based on a book, but not so much that it becomes boring. But I don't like it. It's a precarious balance between, sticking too much to the book and then completely changing the book, and the resemblance between the book and the show is like negligible. Like, what do they do? Just wave the book over the film? So if you've watched these Saturday Snippets before, you know that this is a pet peeve of mine. I want to darken up these shadows some more. So we're going to take the 045 Indigo Blue and just darken up shadows just a tiny bit. Okay. Just in the shadows. So I watched that and I really enjoyed it. The cast is just amazing. I hope that they make more. So if you've seen the movies, I think there are two or three, Knives Out, it's very similar kind of movie to that movie. Same kind of sarcastic wit. Which Richard Osman is well known for. Okay. Darken up in there as well. What else have I seen on television? I'm still watching past episodes of Dateline. I'm almost at the end of the episodes that are available on streaming. So I think I'm going to need to choose a new true crime documentary series to watch. Or I'm just trying to think there are a couple of TV shows that I started and then I stopped. Like I was rewatching Lost, but I took a break. Do I like that? I do like that. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to put in some dots where Johanna has indicated. So I'm just gonna, I'm going to be using the Artristro acrylic paint marker pen. Let me just give it a shake. Okay, and just make sure that on a separate piece of paper that it's flowing. Yes, it's flowing. Okay, and I'm just going to put in the dots. I'll even add a couple more that or not in the actual image. I like the whimsy that white dots gives to a page. Yeah, so I might take a break from watching true crime shows and go back to watching some of the shows that I had started rewatching and taken a break. So I was rewatching Lost, and I've made it to season 3. This Lost it's just the busiest deserted island ever. Can even put some dots on the actual let's put some here too on the moth. And here. Okay. Oh, I really like our little moth. Let's zoom out and see what the whole page looks like. Okay, so this is what the page is looking like right now. I like that it's similar in color to the butterfly, but also slightly different. So it's not exactly the same in terms of the background. And I really like how this color makes the moth pop out. Okay, so that is it for our continuation of the nature scenes in Small Victories. I'm going to now just do a little bit of work in Dark Fairy Tales. So I'm just going to get that book and I'll be right back. Right, so I'm just going to do a little bit of work in Dark Fairy Tales by Kerby Rosanes. I'm going to be working on the water in the crocodile page. And I just got some blues here. So it doesn't really matter what blues you choose, but I've got 3 tones of blue. So I've got poppy blue, which is a light. I've got 098, which is a mid-tone. 097, which is a different mid-tone, and 045, which is like an indigo blue color, so it's the dark tone. I've also got a watercolor marker, which I will use to deepen up shadows. I like to put it down and then rub it with a Q-tip. I've also got Prismacolor white, and I've got a couple of whites. I've got an acrylic marker and the Langwao calligraphy white gel pen. So let's turn to the page, do some of this. Let's do this section over here. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first mid-tone, which is 098, and I'm just going to follow the shading that Kerby has given us. So you can see that he's put in lines to indicate where the shading should go. So I am just going to follow his shading. Okay. So here it's darker, and then here it's lighter. Okay, so here I'm just going to flick a little bit with my pencil. Okay, and in the darker areas, go in with slightly heavier pressure. Okay, and here it's a little bit lighter, the lines, and here they're just flicking out, and here's a highlight. Okay, so we just go with the lines that he's given us. Okay, I also put a base layer of watercolor marker on here so that it would give a bit more tooth to the paper, because the paper in this book is quite smooth. Okay, so what was I talking about before we switched books? I can't remember. Oh, yes, TV shows that I was binging and rewatching. So I was talking about Lost. I have already finished my rewatch of Law and Order. That was fun. I love that show. I didn't really like the reboot. I think that the dialogue wasn't as good. The cases were not that interesting either. And while I like Hugh Dancy as an actor, he's a good actor, I felt that this role was not for him. Okay, now we're going to go in with the 045, which is like indigo blue. I think I'm gonna zoom you in. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so only in the shadows where Kerby has given us the darkest lines. Okay. Yeah, so he's a good actor, but I don't think that role was for him. So I didn't really like that. But I really loved my rewatch of the original series. That was fun. Another show, is there another show that, another show that I want to rewatch is The X-Files. I'm a huge X-Files fan. I used to wait with bated breath every week for the next episode before there was streaming. Oh, I love Scully and Mulder. I have all of the episodes on DVD. The only problem is, I'm not sure I have a DVD player. I have a PlayStation. I'm thinking maybe I think you can play DVDs on the PlayStation. Oh, I really like that. That's nice. And now we're going to, I don't even think I need my other mid-tone. Let's just take the light, the 034 Poppy Blue, which would be powder blue in Prisma if you're doing Prisma. And just blend here. I'm not sure we even need another color. I might alternate to make the ocean look a little bit more realistic. I might alternate my two mid-tone colors. Let's see if I can do that. So for this one, I use the 097, and I'll do another one and use the other color, which was 098, which I think is a little bit more teal than that one. So let's carry on here. So again, it's a slightly different blue. So only in the dark in the shadow areas, and then flick, lighten up pressure and flick. Okay, wait, move this across a bit. Okay. Yeah, so I think I might go back and binge watch the X-Files from the beginning. What other shows? I have a whole list of shows that I want to watch. Okay, so it's slightly different. So you can see this one is more of a light blue, and this one's got a little bit of a teal tone to it, just a really small amount. Okay, so now we're going in with our 054, our darker indigo color, only in the shadow areas. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna get alternating blue colors, which will make it look more realistic because the ocean is never only one color of blue. Okay. Okay, and now I will blend out with the poppy blue. Right, now I want to deepen up my shadows even more with my watercolor marker. So all you do is you have to work quickly, okay? So all I'm going to do is go into the shadow areas and then with a Q-tip, blend it out. It will make the shadow areas even darker. Now, even if you don't work quickly and you get a look that you don't really like, what you can do is, because they are watercolor markers, you can take a water brush, okay? And you can blend out the water as well. If the paper allows it. Some paper allows it, some doesn't. This paper is not really doing such a fabulous job. So what I will do then, wait for it to dry a second. Then what you can do is you can take your pencil again and go over it. So let me just wait for that to dry. And then you can blend it out if it doesn't look exactly the way you want it to. Okay, and then for the foam, we're going to take the mid-tone again. All right, let's do this foam here. Now, very lightly, mainly leave white. Okay, you don't want the foam to be too dark. Okay, right, just a tad only around the deepest shadow area. Then I'm gonna blend that with white. Okay. And then I take my acrylic marker and make sure it's flowing. And go around the lines that Kerby's given us. White them out. Okay, and then you will get foam. Right, so I think we're done for today. This is what the page looks like so far, and I'm just going to continue doing the rest of the water with these colors. Next week, we are going to go back to Small Victories and begin the final nature scene, which is these leaves. I will need to come up with a color palette that is cohesive with the other scenes. I'm looking forward to it. So thank you so much for joining me on today's Saturday Snippet, and I hope to see you next week. Bye for now.